luni bungi ute, neibugalo, neibugalo. Watiwa, luwa pure me, watiwalo, watiwalo. Neibuga, luni bungi ute, neibugalo, neibugalo. Welcome to the Creative Monday Discussion Show. I am your host, Mervin Budram, and we are creatives transforming lives. Welcome back to the Creative Monday Discussion Show. I am your host, Mervin Budram, and I will be with you for the next hour. If you guys notice, for those who are early birds, those who made it to the beginning, you notice we started the show a little bit different than we normally do. Thank you, Carly. Love the music. Yes, I'm a musician. A lot of people might not know that. I'm a musician. I'm an artist as well. I'm a creative. I love to creative. I love to create. I love to produce. But I started the show that way in celebration of Garifuna Settlement Day. That's in our country. We celebrate Garifuna Settlement Day. My people group, Garifuna. And the 19th of November is a time where we come together and we honor the journey and the process that the Garina group people have gone through, coming out of slavery and coming to this region and kind of coming into our own, right? And so for all Garifunas and those who celebrate with us, I want to say in advance, happy Garifuna Settlement Day. And for those tuning in, I want to welcome you to the Creative Monday Discussion Show. This show is designed for you. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're a startup, you're looking for tips and practical advice to build your business and to bring your business to a space where it is profitable, where it can work for you. This podcast is for you. We bring guests and influential people, inspiring people from around the region, from here in Belize as well as around the region, just to talk about their journey, their story, and give advice and tips and kind of share how they got to where they're at. And our goal and our aim through that is that you will be inspired. Firstly, you will be motivated to take action, and you will be transformed in your process, right? So again, I want to welcome everyone who's tuned in. Let us know where in the world you're tuned in from. If you're here in Belize, or this is a global podcast as well, so we know we have friends from around the world. Let us know where you're tuned in from. And I want to encourage you to use our comment section if you're on Facebook, on YouTube, and now we're on LinkedIn as well, to use the comment section to send us feedback and let us know your thoughts. Let us know what your questions. Join the conversation. It's a discussion, right? And as you can see behind me here, that's one of the Garifuna drums. So again, we're celebrating Garifuna Settlement Day. So I got to put some of my culture in there. So that's the traditional Garifuna drums. And if you like the intro of that song, go to my YouTube channel, Mervin Budram Media. The full production song is there. You can listen to it, you can enjoy it, and you can share it in this time. I want to say welcome to those tuned in on TNC here in Belize, the national channel here in Belize. Welcome. And we are always excited to have you guys. We are glad that you've chosen to take this hour to be with us. If you want to be a part of the discussion as well, you can Facebook us as well as WhatsApp us. The number is 501-623-7898. Send to that number and we will get your messages. We also want to say good morning to our friends in Europe watching on Carib Invest TV. Thank you guys as well for being a part of the discussion. And those who will watch afterwards, those who will catch it afterwards on Arise TV in Antigua and Barbuda, as well as those who watch this episode afterwards, we want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for choosing to spend this time and connect with us. I want to let you know that tonight's episode is brought to you by Task Belize Limited, a strategic marketing and innovation agency here in Belize that helps tell your stories, reach more people, and close more sales.
Are you ready to move your business forward? Are you ready to make an impact? Are you ready to go beyond what is? Hungry for more traffic, engagement, customers? Here is your chance to become more successful in the digital world. With fresh, creative, innovative strategies for your organization's messaging, website, videos, graphics, photos, and sound. Skyrocket your brand's digital identity. We do what works. We do things differently. We learn from you to understand your business needs. Tell your story, reach more people, and close more sales. Contact us now to take your business to the next level. TAS Believes, the heart of entrepreneurial innovation.
All right. Welcome back again. And I am very excited about tonight's episode, and I'm always excited about the episode, and you guys know that. But I am really excited to, and looking forward to the discussion with our guest for tonight. I had a good chat with her last week, and we were talking about this off air. But I know I needed that conversation. And guys, sometimes just having a conversation and being able to process out loud some of what you're thinking, some of the ideas you're exploring, it can really help you to pivot or help you to kind of position yourself or know what course of direction you need to take, right? And so part of why we have these discussions, again, is for you to kind of help unlock. Maybe there's something we're talking about and you're thinking, hey, I was thinking about that. I want more. I want to learn more. I want to figure out more how to navigate this entrepreneurial journey and where I'm at. And so these conversations are designed to help you, to help your process and to help us grow together as a community in this space, right? So I'm very much looking forward to our guest tonight. She's an author, a strategic planner who loves to create the map to your vision destination, right? She has over 10 years of experience in business administration, entrepreneurship, strategic planning, and marketing. She wears a huge cap, right? So there's a lot. I just want to pause there and say there's a lot you can soak from her. So get your questions together. Get your pens, get your notebook, take notes, learn from these conversations and see where you can go. So she's all about helping micro and small business owners build a strong businesses with the capacity to generate big business bucks, right? How many of you want to make bucks? How many of you want your business to work for you? So that's kind of where we're starting to go, right? So help me welcome to the screen Mrs. Donna Hayes-Burke. I hope I didn't butcher your last name just now. Hi, Donna. How are you doing this evening?
I am doing well. It's Dana Hayes-Burke.
Dana Hayes-Burke. There you go.
Yeah, I'm doing welcome. Well. How are you?
Well, I'm fine. I'm energetic. I got to play some music today just now, and I enjoyed it. I realized, hey, I should do that more often. Pull out the guitar and do something fun and funky.
Yeah, it was lovely. I enjoyed it. I was having a good time backstage.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the Creative Monday Discussion Show. Thank you for being with us this evening. I know we are on different time zones. So in your part of the world, what time is it right now?
It is just after 9 p.m. So we're 2 hours ahead of you.
2 hours ahead. Awesome. Yeah, so I know it's late in the night for you. Thank you for sacrificing and being up. But this is a life of an entrepreneur as well. We're typically up late night. So let's jump into the conversation. Tell us a little bit about who you are, your story, your journey. How did you? I'm asking you lots of questions here, but I'm giving you enough for you to kind of run with, right? But how did you get into the space that you're currently in? That you're a strategic planner, you're a marketer, you're a vision coach, you help business make the big bucks, right? Bottom line, you help business move from just kind of being an entrepreneur, but move to a spot where their business is working for them. So talk to us a little bit. How did you get into that space?
Well, let me introduce myself. First of all, as I said, my name is Dana Hayes-Burke. I am known in my community as a vision builder, because my role is to help you to see the vision, believe the vision, and to build the vision. And in that capacity, I function as a vision strategist and a business coach consultant. And when I say vision strategist, it means that my job is to help you to create a vibrant vision of the ideal life design that you want, and then to help you cultivate the strategy to get there. For me, I believe that for many of us, having a business is the pathway through which we can actually create the life that we want to create. And how I got into this business is that I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I did kind of put that on pause, taking the route of a traditional career. But in that career and in that space, I recognized that what it was not going to afford me is time to spend with my family as I wanted. It was not, I didn't have time for myself or the things that I was passionate about. And therefore, I needed to find another pathway. When I looked at the vision of what I wanted my life to be, I knew that my present trajectory was not going to take me there. And that really became the impetus for me to review again the idea of building my own space, building my own empire as a means to not only creating my life design, but actually living in purpose. Because for me, when I look at the world of business and I look at the world of entrepreneurship, a lot of us get into businesses, but what I see is a lot of hustling, a lot of the continuous running after, after every dollar, no strategy, not really sure what we're building. And then 20 years later, you're in the same space in your business. So for me, I've studied it. I've built my own businesses. And what I'm interested in doing is really equipping our people so that we can actually start building businesses that work for us rather than us consistently and continuously having to be in this hustle mode. So that's what I've designed my coaching programs on. My books are written in that area. I study in that area. And it really is an amalgamation of things that are theoretical, but also practical, so that we can really have what we're looking for when we started our businesses. And that's what I'm passionate about.
I love that. And you hit on several, I think, key nerve points. One being the hustling space. I know we talked extensively about that last week, and we'll talk a little bit more about that tonight. You spoke about your business being that pathway to have the life that we want and we're envisioning, and kind of using that platform to get there. Let's go back a little bit. Like, what was life like for you before you stepped out in this arena, and then how did your business help you make that adjustment to where you're at now?
So prior to going into my own business, I actually I had a good career. I can't say that I didn't have a good career. I entered into the world of work, perhaps not in the company that I planned or dreamed of. I can't say it was the company that I dreamed of being in. But in that space, I progressed well. I actually, by the time I left, it was 7 years into my career and I was already a manager. So things were progressing well. But when I looked at the trajectory and I looked at the demands that were coming my way as I went further and further along in my career, I felt that something there was not going to connect for me. So how did I get started in business? While I was still working my job, I went into my business. So that's the first thing. A lot of the times we think that we're going to just leave our job and then go into business. I think the best thing to do is to start while you are employed, because it allows you a little bit of a buffer. Yeah. And it also allows you to not have the pressure of consistently chasing that dollar, because there are bills to be paid at the end of a month. And unfortunately, on the internet streets, they try to tell us that we are going to become millionaires the moment we start our businesses, but that is not a journey. It's a process. Journey. It is a process, right? So I actually started my first business, which is not the business I'm presently in, but I actually had a plan. I had a plan for where I wanted my life to be in 5 years. And then I literally said, okay, what is in your hand right now that you can use to get started? And I started my first business, which was an event management firm. And I utilized that business to transition out of my job. So I worked my job, and then I used that business to transition out of my job. What helped me in doing that is, again, being clear on what type of business structure I wanted for myself. I think a lot of the times we just, business happens to us rather than we plan for business, if that makes sense, right? So, Mervin comes to you and he says, Dana, I want you to do this. And I say, oh, that's money. I'm going to take that. And, Paula comes to you and she says, okay, can you do this to me? And you take that. And that was a mistake, I can honestly say, that I made at the beginning, because, again, that I didn't make the initial transition to what exactly am I trying to attract? What exactly am I trying to build? So I can say the first 3 months, Mervin, honestly, I took jobs at prices that made no sense.
I know exactly what you mean.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend that that didn't happen to me, but
Yeah,
I learned quickly
yeah,
because the first 2 to 3 times that I was doing these jobs and was so annoyed with myself because I underpriced it, over delivering, and I was just so tired in doing it, that actually took me back to the drawing board. And I created that framework for the business. And basically started eliminating all of the hustle things and started focusing directly for what I wanted. And that's how I actually landed a government contract within the first 6 months. So I started making 5 figures in my business in the first 6 months, because I made that switch. So I think sometimes, and this is an honest mistake, is because we don't know how, and also because of the examples we see around us
yeah.
are not the best. We go after the hustle mode. And in that first business, I knew that that was my transition business, because ultimately my passion is to equip and to teach men and women to build wealth and legacy through their businesses. I think that many of us are gifted. Many of us have a lot of skills and talents that we have, that we only use in a certain circumstance or in the world of work. And we never give ourselves a chance to fully explore all that we could do, with those gifts and talents. And I believe that it's those gifts and talents are really there for us to have multiple streams of income, and one of them can be your business. So that is how I transitioned into who I am now, and I am the vision builder, because ultimately that is the core of what I believe. I believe that your business design should work for you so that you can actually have a quality life, as well as financial freedom, as well as impact, as well as legacy. So in
I love
building
that.
my first business, I learned a lot that I
Well,
now
is that
teach.
yeah, and it's I love how you said that your first business was your transition business, and I think that even that in itself is key, because a lot of folks start that first business and it's their baby. They don't want to let it go. They don't want to transition into something else, and so they hold on to it even if it's dragging them down, and they're not moving, they're not growing, they're not sustaining, right? And then you also said, you spoke just now about kind of letting go of those hustling mindsets, those hustling parts of the business, and really embracing the things that will generate revenues. Most, I would say this, well, I'll speak for myself. Most, for me, I find that, when you've been in that hustling mode for a while, it's hard to differentiate, and it's hard to let go. Actually, I was talking with my coach today, and as we were exploring some new things that I'm getting ready to step into, she had to bring back to my attention. It says, Mervin, this sounds very much like when we were back there, where you had all these different things going. So, talk to us a little bit about maybe some of the strategies, or maybe even some of your approach to clear out the clutter and say, hey, this is hustling, I don't want that, this is how I need to go. Like, how do you map a way forward in your thought process and in structuring your business?
Well, the first thing that I want to share, and this is something that if you don't take anything else away from this conversation, I want you to take this statement. Busyness is not an indicator of success. Once we divorce that idea, that I remember having clients and they say to me, they're really happy being booked and busy. And I said, well, the problem is that you're booked and busy and broke. Because you're booked, you're busy, and you're still not able to actually do anything in your business. You're unable to pay yourself. Now, that's a big thing for me, right? There is this mindset that in your first years of business, you are not going to be able to pay yourself a salary or any sort of remuneration for your efforts. So you're working for nothing. And for me, those kinds of things, it's because we don't understand how to apply certain strategies to our business. So if I'm things that help me to navigate through sifting and knowing what is for me, first of all, is divorcing this idea that I need to be super busy.
Yeah.
I think, like in your case, Mervin, I think it becomes a bit jarring when you have open spaces in your schedule It's
Yeah.
almost like there is this
Yeah.
subconscious thought
Put
that
something
you
there.
are failing. Why
Yeah.
is there space? Why is there like a 2 hour block of time in your day that there is nothing? You could put 10 clients there,
There.
and that is so again, so we need to divorce that idea. The second thing is to know your values.
Yeah.
Understanding your values makes a really big difference in how you approach taking jobs or not taking jobs. What are the core values that you hold on to in your life? So, my core values are my faith, my family, education, and freedom through entrepreneurship. Like, that is really the essence of my core values. So, I'm not going to take a job that compromises my freedom and doesn't pay me for it.
Yeah.
So I think that it's important. I would not take a job that is going to take me away from my family for 2 years.
Yeah.
That is not because my value system is that important to me. And I think when we don't honor our values when we're operating our businesses, what happens is we become frustrated, we become depleted, and then after a while we become stuck. So it's the busyness, understanding your values, and then also having a price that is associated with what you offer. A lot of the times we take whatever persons, when you're starting a business, you pay $10 for something and you will allow somebody to haggle you down for $8 because money came in. Because in that mode, all you're interested in is to change the shifting of dollars between
Yeah.
hands. But at some point, you have to make a decision concerning what your value is, what your time is valued at, what your worth is valued at, and start assessing things on the facts. I think when you start making emotional decisions in business, that's where we have all of these problems. Emotions are not a good basis upon which you should be making decisions. So it's important for you to actually know the facts of what your price structure is, what you are offering, and whether something aligns with the core of your business or not. So honestly, for me, I need to know my business inside and out so that I can make decisions that will align more integrally with what I am about. So honestly, when I'm approached for things, I can sit and evaluate, does this fit in my business model? Where does this fit in the things that I'm trying to accomplish? But if you don't have a reference, if you don't have a map, if you are not certain of what you're building, and as I said, your business is happening to you rather than you are steering the car of your business,
Yeah.
it's going to be really difficult for you to make those choices.
Yeah. This is great, and I really hope that our audience, they're soaking this up, because this is the reality that a lot of entrepreneurs go through. This is the process, the pain points that a lot of us feel and face in our ventures. I was talking with someone, and they, like you said, they're busy running around getting stuff all over. But then when I ask them how is a bank account looking, and the bank account is dry, or they barely have enough to make the next the next payment or the next investment. Actually, I've seen that a company I know about worked. They make just enough to buy the ingredients for the next day project. They're not, and they look like they're striving. They look like they're doing well, but they're not. And I'm in a space, and I'm in a place in my life where it's not about the looks, and it's not about how it perceive other. It's the reality. That's what's happening in the bank account, what's happening in the business, what's happening in the structure, and making sure that those things are really working in-house and working for you, so that I can effectively give it to someone else out there.
And may I add something? I
Sure.
think that situation that you're describing there is pervasive. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we base the success of our businesses on what I call vanity statistics. So you have 10,000 followers on Instagram. You have how many people liking your posts on Facebook. How does that translate into dollars? We have to keep our eyes on the price. And for me, one of the things that I recognized early is that you have to also be willing to step in faith and not be controlled by faith. Because what happens, and I know we can sit here and talk about, well, don't take every single job. I can hear someone saying, but when you have bills to pay,
Exactly.
how can I not take every single job? But then my response would be, you took the money. Were you able to pay the bills fully? How about you sit and you position yourself in a better space, in a better place. Understand who you're supposed to be talking to rather than trying to talk to everyone, so that you can actually attract the people that you're looking to attract. It's a fair thing. And I
Yeah.
know this for a fact, having dealt with my own clients. It's a fair thing, but we have to sit down and look at the facts of it. You are taking jobs, you are selling products at prices. As you said, you can't even go beyond the present day that you're functioning. And it's simply because we are faithful.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I learned in my own experience, when you are patient in the process and you're consistent, you will attract the right kinds of business and you will get the right kind of remuneration that you're looking for your business. So what I would probably suggest, though, is not everyone is going to be able to just say, well, I'm going to take only the ideal clients and the ideal
Yeah.
jobs right now. But you should make a commitment to yourself that progressively every single week, you are going
Yeah.
to reduce how many times you compromise. So at least one of those clients will be paying you the right price.
Yeah.
And what happens is that over time, the pendulum starts to go the right way. So you can't go from 0 to 100. So therefore, if you know every single client, you're giving them a buy one get one free, then how about you actually now decide, okay, buy one get one free for 5 clients, and everybody else pays the full price.
Yeah.
So at the very least, you have the cushion that I'll get the 5 discount clients, but then I start attracting the ones who will pay me full price. So eventually now you are going to migrate your business to the space that you want to migrate it to. And stop paying attention to how many likes you get, how many followers you have, because those things do not translate into dollars and cents. If you have 10,000 followers and you do not even have 1% of that converting into sales, then what you are indulging in is celebrating the vanity of it all, and it's not going to augur well for your business at the end.
That is amazing, and that is so true. And I just want to, those tuned in, I want to encourage you guys to soak this is, and I didn't say this earlier, but I deliberately didn't say this earlier, but I want to say it now. What we're talking about tonight is the transformative entrepreneurial mindset. It's the way in how we think. It's the way in how we approach our business, because and a lot of what I'm hearing is the thought process, the mindset. Those are some of the foundational things that you need to have in place first as you step out in your business, or you're going to stay in this hustling mode, just kind of chasing every penny, chasing every dollar, running around, being busy, but not having the finance to sustain what you want to do, right? And so, what I want to ask, is, there's those folks who might be thinking, okay, that's you're a planner, you're a strategist. But for me, I have a hard time coming up with the plan. Like, what are some practical steps that you would give someone to transition from being in this busy, crazy stretch, but not generating anything, and getting to a spot where they're functioning on a plan, they're reaching their target audience, and they're starting to generate revenues? Let me ask this better. What are some of the first things they need to do, and then other things that they need to start doing moving forward from there?
Okay. So the first thing that I would say for you to do is understand the business that you are in. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying it like this, and I'm going to explain it so you understand what I mean. If you are in the business, if you sell cellular phones, you sell a product, but that's not the business that you are in. The business that you are in is really what makes you different from the other cellular phone providers. What is it that you offer that others do not offer? What is the problem that you are presently solving? That is what you actually need to understand. Like, what is the solution that I'm providing? So if you're somebody who bakes cakes, what is the solution that you are providing? If I was to describe it, everybody can make, well, not me, but everybody can make, a 3-tier cake, those have those stubby frosted cakes. Again, I'm not a baker. But why would I come to you to get my cakes as opposed to someone else? What is it that you bring? Do you bring an additional level of joy? Is it that you bring an additional level of excitement? Is it that you specialize in birthdays and not weddings and everything else? You have to get to the core of your business. And to get to the core of your business, really, the best question you can ask yourself is, what do I like the most about what I do? What do I like the most about what I do? Because basically, the person who sells the cell phones, the thing that they may actually like about selling the cell phones is repairing them.
Yeah.
But I sell the cell phones because, you have to have a phone in order for me to repair it.
Yeah.
Or maybe the thing that I love to do in selling cell phones is actually teaching persons how to use their smartphones and show them, here's the lighting, here's this app. Do you know that it can do this? So then the core of my business is not selling phones. It's actually teaching people how to run a business on their smartphone. So if I understand what I do, then the next thing that I want you to remember is that every business should aim to have 3 levels. You should aim to have a product, you should aim to have a service, and you should aim to have a program. You will not have them all at the same time, but this is the basics of your plan. What is the product that you are going to sell that is aligned with the thing I love to do? What is the service that I provide that's aligned with the thing that I want to do? And eventually, what is the program that I can offer that is aligned with the thing that I want to do? Because those 3 levels really give you a full business model. You can have one thing in each of this, and you have a full business model. So let's go back to the cell phone guy, right? Cell phone guy, John. So John has recognized that he likes to teach persons how to make the best use of their smartphone. So what is the product that John is selling? He is selling the smartphones. What is the service that he is selling? He is repairing the phones. He also has YouTube videos that show you how to use the phone, and he can monetize that YouTube channel. And what is the program? The program might be to work with or teach other young people how to get in touch with the latest tech, to connect with things that are happening in different apps, and to use that to monetize their skills. So right away, John, with his little kiosk, is not just selling phones. Suddenly, he is educating persons how to use a smartphone to run a business. And to do that, he sells them the phones, he services the phones and shows them how to use it. And he equips other people to do the same, so that when his business is booming, he now has trusted sources that he can refer them to.
Very good. Very good. Guys, this is great stuff, and I hope you guys are soaking it up. And again, if you have questions, this is the time to dive in. This is a free consultation we're getting here, right? We're getting a free consultation. So feel free, if you have questions you want to submit, feel free to submit those questions. Feel free to send them in, and we will get them in on the screen. And I know Naturally Belize Cosmetics asked for your link. Her Miss Dana's link is running at the bottom as she's speaking, so feel free to snag her link as it's running at the bottom, and we will continue to do that throughout the evening. I'm really enjoying this conversation. I am learning a lot as well. I don't have my pen and book with me, but I have my phone. I'm jotting down tons of notes here, and it's good, guys. It's the process, and this is what it's about. We're talking about inspiration, transformation. We're talking about motivation. You know, a lot of the times we don't have this information, we don't have this kind of content, and that is why we're bringing people like Miss Dana in to bring this across to us. This is a question that came in. How do I pinpoint what area I venture into when I'm good at so many different things? I guess that's someone like me. You're multifaceted. You have so many things you're good at. How do you pinpoint what area to really dive into?
So that is a really excellent question. And first of all, let me tell you, you're not alone. There are so many creatives that I know who struggle with this. So the thing is, you have to decide what is the gift or the talent or the skill that you're good with, that you don't mind doing every single day, and the ones that you need to do for your recreation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So there are things that, for instance, I might be good at, let's say, sewing, right? And I love it, but I may never want to do it for others because it's a personal thing for me. It's something that I use to de-stress. It's something that I use, for my downtime. So that may not be a business that I may go into full time. Now, is it something that I can use to get an additional source of income if, things are ever hard? Yes. But it's not something that I'm actually going to do full time. When it comes to choosing a space and an area to focus your business on or to explore for business, you want to pick something that you love doing to the point that you want to share it with the world continuously. So that means that not every single thing that you do or you're good at will fall into that category. So that is the first test, right? So that's the first level. If you take, your 20 skills that you have, your 20 talents that you have, and you start sifting them through as to what I would love to do every single day and offer to the world every single day, and I will not be burnt out in doing it, you will start to reduce that list. Once you've reduced that list, start looking at what remains and see if there's any commonality in it. Because a lot of the times we think that every single thing has to stand by itself. But sometimes you can actually build a few of those skills into one business. So I've done that for a few clients, right? You build all of these skills into one business so that actually it helps form the framework of product, service, and program. So that is the second thing that you want to do. Look and see if there are any commonalities in those things. And then of the sets that you come up with, the final step that I will tell you to explore is to see which one you can start the easiest. It means that it doesn't require a large financial investment, because a lot of the times we stop ourselves thinking, I need to have like $50,000.
Yeah.
But there are skills and there are gifts and talents that you presently have that you don't need to spend a large amount of money to get into the business. So start with those first. When you start with those, here's what you're going to discover. It's only when you start doing something you realize if it's for you or if it's not for you.
That is true.
You will never figure that out standing still. It's just like, that's not a thing. You're not going to figure it out standing still. So start with the one that requires the least capital investment, that you can actually start with what's in your hand and put out an ad and start offering the services. As you start doing it, you're going to realize, oh, I really am not, I love making cakes for Christmas, but every week, not really. And then you just migrate off of that. I would suggest as well that you start the business opportunity unofficially, meaning you don't have to go through the formal registration process at inception. Test out the waters and see, okay, if this is for me or if it's not for me. As soon as you recognize, however, that it's not for you, be willing to leave it where it is and go and explore another area. Because oftentimes we get into this space, we start to treat it like another job, like we entered and we signed a contract, and whether I like it or not, I'm going to turn up 8 o'clock and leave at 4 o'clock because, I told people that I make cakes. How about you tell them I'm making cakes until this time, and then thank you so much for your support. I'm going to be exploring some new ideas and new opportunities. Because what happens is a lot of us stick with things because we feel that doing what we're moving on and exploring other areas, especially as creatives, we come with this mindset again that it means that we failed. It's not that you failed, you have uncovered something. And you would have never uncovered it if you had not taken an action. Because it's in the action that you get information so that you can then make a better choice.
Very good. That my wife had a similar situation like that. Like my wife's an artist, and she loved teaching as well. And she's like, hey, I want to do summer class and start to teach. And we were going to do this whole art school. And then we explored it, and then she realized, I don't like teaching young kids. I like teaching this age. And it was a process of learning, and she's been going through that process to kind of figuring out, okay, this is a space I want to be in, I'm comfortable being in, and I want to do this every day. So you're so right. Take the time to do some research and do some testing before you make this big heavy investment, and then you're kind of stuck with it, right? A question came in from one of our viewers from Faith Authors. She's asking, how can you transition from one point to another? Example, service to products to all three, because you were talking earlier about the structure to have, right? And so how do you transition from one point to another point?
So that's a fabulous question. Thank you so much, Faith. It goes back to what I said is the first thing that you need to do. Understand the core of your business. Because once you start speaking and engaging with your audience on the basis of the core of your business, when you add a product, when you add a service, or when you have all three available, those things do not feel like you're shifting gears in your business, or it doesn't feel like you were once doing something and now you're doing something else. It doesn't feel like that because folks understand the core of your business. So I like to use myself as an example. The core of my business is that I help persons to see the vision, believe the vision, and build the vision. So everything that I provide by way of products, whether it's the book, whether it's my planner, services, programs, it's easy for me to get persons to seamlessly move through all of the offerings because everything is based on the core of see, believe, build.
Okay.
So when you understand what the core of your business is, we need to stop just like what we tend to do with our social media or marketing is simply post a flyer and say, come, buy that. And then post another flyer of a service and say, please buy that. And post something else and say, please buy that. But we're not actually having a discourse that allows people to understand the core of our business. So how do you transition into doing all three? The first thing you need to do is actually start having conversations with your audience, with your clients in the spaces that they engage with you, so they understand what you are about in your business. So they understand who you are. They understand the essence of your business. That is the principle of knowing you, liking you, and trusting you. So when they know you, they will like what the core of who you are is all about. And then they will trust whatever product comes out.
Yeah.
They will trust whatever product comes out. And if we think about ads that we see, on television, some of these ads have nothing to do with the product.
Yeah.
A classic example is Coca-Cola ads. Like kids doing whatever, playing, having a good time, whatever it is. Nothing to do with the drink. You see them drink something, but they are trying to build a narrative of the core of their business is that we want you to have fun and have safe fun and that sort of thing. So, and the product is just a way that we do that. So it's the same thing with your business. Whatever business you're in, start sharing the core of your business. Start sharing the essence of your business. And then it's easy. Persons will believe in you, believe in what you are about, and they will support whether it's the product you're promoting, it's the service you're promoting, or it's a program that you are bringing out, because now there is a relationship with you. See, business at its core is really relationship.
Yeah.
And once we've learned how to master relationship by sharing the heart of what we do, it's easier now for persons to buy into the product, the service, and the program. And guess what happens as well, Mervin? It's that in having those conversations and in having those discourses on your platforms, your audience, your clients actually tell you what they want. So believe me, it sells itself.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm telling you from my own experience, it sells itself. You're like, Dana, I want to know, you tell me to build a vision, but I price so badly. I don't know how to do this. And I said, okay, I will sort you out. And I came up with a book.
Nice.
And they're like, thank you. Yay.
Nice.
That was a product. My business is primarily service-based. Products are secondary. Programs are secondary. Service-based. But I didn't have to convince anybody to buy that product. They were like, yay.
Because it's answering their questions that they're asking. Very good. Very good. Very good. Another question came in from Shireen. What are some of the challenges? And I think you've said some of this, but if we can go back to it, what are some of the challenges, lessons learned in transitioning your business? You talk about, you had your first business and that was your transitioning business. And what were some of the challenges and lessons learned in transitioning to those businesses as you move forward in your career?
I think one of the challenges that I had was actually just at the beginning believing in my own vision, because everyone said it couldn't be done. I'm not kidding you. Everyone said, Data, you cannot break into the event space because it's so saturated. There are such big players, etc., etc., etc. It's the same thing with this business. Everyone said, oh, you can't build a global business. It's just Trinidad. People are not going to engage with you online. You have to, it was a challenge at the beginning to remain committed to my idea of what it is that I wanted to do. But in those instances, it's really important for you to have the right business in your circle. How I overcame it really is that I actually had my husband who was there visioning with me. He saw what I was trying to build. He didn't know all of the pieces either, but he actually really supported me in that. So anytime I deviated from the vision, I made mistakes. When I remained committed to the vision, I actually was able to accomplish much more and much faster. So that was the one mistake. So if you are going into business, you have to see for yourself. I think a lot of the times, because again of fear, we're looking for somebody else to validate what it is that we are trying to build. But it's hard for those who love you to validate it because they haven't gone through it. They can't see it for themselves. So it's really incumbent upon you to believe. And as you believe and they see it coming to pass, right, then they will be like, okay, I see that you really did it, and they will help you on the next level. So the first thing in transitioning, you have to believe. You have to have a vision for yourself. You have to speak that vision to yourself regularly. I laugh when I say
I
to
have to
myself.
ask, when you say regularly, describe that for us, because
So in the beginning stages, I'm not kidding. I can give you my husband to contact. I had my vision written on a very big whiteboard.
Yeah.
And I would read that every single day. Now, this is while I was still at my job. This is while I was still trying to figure it out. I would read that vision aloud every single day. When you are in the starting stages of building anything new, you need to write that vision out explicitly, and you need to read that vision aloud every single day. I'm a stickler for writing the vision, because if it's not written, it's a daydream. And for reading it aloud, because faith comes by hearing. So I read it aloud every single day, right? Because I needed to hold on. It became so tangible to me, and it still exists to this day. My brain is in my future. So where my brain is, where my mind is, my body follows. So I have firmly positioned my mind into the future. And that really does help you when you're going through your struggles, right? That you can see something beyond what's presently in front of you. So have your vision, read out that vision aloud, and then start taking small, actionable steps. Rome was not built in a day. So the simple thing can be do some research, step one. Once you've done some research, do some investigation again about how you can do what you have discovered, and then start off small. Sometimes you want to start off like Amazon that exists now. But remember, Amazon started in a garage.
Yeah.
Right?
It's funny you say that, because I think one of the mistakes that companies make, and I've seen myself making this mistake in my first venture and in the early stage. You do those things. You're making those wise moves. You're starting small. You're making incremental steps. But then you've had some growth over the years, and then it's time to go into a new arena. And then you no longer are following those early protocols. You're just diving head, throwing money at it, and you're eventually losing in the longer run instead of building on what you've already built on. Is there anything you could speak into that kind of situation?
Slow, consistent steps in the right direction gets results.
Yeah.
That is the rule, whether you're big or you're small.
Yeah.
Slow, small, consistent steps in the right direction gets results. So as you are growing, enthusiasm, sends you off on a trajectory. That oftentimes you have to rein yourself.
Yeah, so learning how to rein yourself in is very important. I'm hearing that.
The rule is consistent, small, consistent steps. Always test the waters. Please don't be that person who goes to the jetty and dives off. Like, oh, it looks lovely, dive. No, don't be that person. We're not those people, right?
Yeah.
Because anything can be lost. No matter how much you grow, remember resources, money, time, they are finite things. So you have to think about how to make that slow, consistent step. So if you're in the growth stage of your business and you want to go to the next level, your first consistent, slow step that you need to make is actually to start speaking to persons in the spaces that you want to go into. So
Good.
then you have not experienced that new space yet, but you can get some reference points. Not necessarily trying to replicate their experience, but understand their perspectives.
Yeah.
Because what happens is that we're making decisions in ignorance, and that's why we start losing everything. So you want to start tapping into persons in those spaces. There are spaces that I'm taking my business into now, and I'm tapping into those people in those spaces. And it can be frustrating because now you're in this go mode, and I'm literally trying to rein myself back. Like, this is making no sense. Don't do that. The bank account is not going to love you. Just pull it back. Pull it back.
I hear you. I'm there right now as well.
I'm learning to be patient, because slower does not mean denied. Delayed doesn't mean denied. In fact, it is better for you to be slow and consistent, because you're going to learn enough in that journey to make you useful in a new location. So that is something that I have learned, and I've learned through a lot of, painstaking feelings to not despise the slow process, because when you arrive, that slow movement builds momentum. And a lot of the times we look for the momentum, but we're not willing to make the slow moves.
That's good.
And we can end up crashing in the process.
Very good. Guys, this is awesome. We have 10 more minutes to go. So if you have questions, I want to encourage you to get them in while you can. We do prioritize questions from our audience, from you, and so we do want to hear from you. Thank you for everyone who's been submitting so far. Thank you, Faith, for that question. And Nilette, thank you as well for your comments. For Carly, for everyone who's commenting. Rustic Adventure, good evening from Belize. We want to say thank you guys for tuning in and just being a part of the discussion tonight. I know I'm soaking in a lot, and I imagine our audience are also soaking in a lot. This is very, very good stuff. As we're getting ready to wrap up, what are some of the closing thoughts you would want to leave with us this evening?
I just want to leave with everyone who is building a business, thinking about building a business, that it's possible. Sometimes you don't have the example. I certainly didn't have a lot of examples around me of persons who were building the businesses like the way that I wanted to build it. And in those instances, you can almost convince yourself that this is the way that it has to be. Because folks say to you, it's only going to be this way. But I want to encourage you that there is a different way. There is a way that is ideal for you. There is a way for you to build a business that allows you to not only have the business, but to have a life and to have a quality life. And if you are unable to figure it out on your own, then be so committed to a better outcome for yourself that you are willing to get the help you need to get there. Because honestly, where I am today, I was told it was impossible. The fact that I'm doing this at interview from Trinidad, streaming to a show in Belize, I was told that it could not be done. And here I sit, I was going to say stand, but here I sit today, understanding that if you see the vision, if you see yourself, who God made you to be, you see yourself, you see what you have, you see what the future can hold for you, and you believe in it, then do the work to build it, and you will get there. And so that is my encouragement to you. Entrepreneurship is the way that we are going to secure legacy for ourselves, for our future children, and even for our economies.
I love it. One of the things that we spoke about when we were talking last week, and we haven't really touched on it, you said something that when you sit up and okay, that I need to pay attention, but the transition from entrepreneur to business owners, that transition from that place where you're working in your business and hustling in your business to that place where your business is working for you. We have a few minutes. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. So I believe that there is a life cycle of entrepreneurship, or business ownership, I should say, a life cycle of business ownership that many of us do not migrate through because we don't know. And it starts off with you're in the hustler stage. So this is where you're testing things. You're just trying to make that dollar pass by. So that is what's going. You're in the hustler stage. Then, after a while of doing that, you may go into the entrepreneur stage. So again, you're still, if your only way you make money is if you're running up and down in this business, right? You're registered and everything, but you have to work in the business constantly in order to make money. The goal is to migrate from there to the small business owner. And at this stage now, there are systems that work in your business that duplicates your effort. So even in your absence, your business runs. Even in your absence, you are making money. So now the business works for you. Yeah. And then you migrate to being a CEO. And as a CEO, not only does the business work for you, but your money works for you. And that is the ultimate goal. So wherever you are right now in that timeline or that process of business ownership, the goal is always to get to the CEO stage. That's the wealth building stage. So now the money is working for you, the business is working for you, and you no longer are in that space of the hustle. We have to migrate from the hustler entrepreneur space, because entrepreneurship sounds good and persons boast about being a serial entrepreneur, and all I hear is, okay, you're a serial hustler.
Busy.
That's just busy.
Yeah.
But if your machine, which is you, should crash, the business
everything
is
shuts
over.
down. Yeah.
So the goal is to get into that small business space, and then as you are building, as you were talking about going to the next level, is to go into the CEO space. So now the money I have made, I invested and it works for me. And the business is also extended and it's working for me. So now I am one person, but the reach is extensive because all of these streams are coming together.
Very good. And guys, I want to encourage you dive into that, because that's where I'm at. I brought it up because that's the transition I'm going through, and I realized that's the goal. That's where we need to start move towards. If we're going to see transformation in our communities, if we're going to see transformation in the world, that's where it needs to be at, because then our business and our money and our resources working not just for us, but for those we're connected in and the things that we're passionate about globally as well. I am so thankful, Dana, for you being with us tonight. If you notice, I didn't say much tonight because this was one of those sessions that I was just soaking it all in. There's so much wealth of information and resource that you've brought to the show. I just want to thank you for that. And I on behalf of our audience, we want to extend our gratitude and our thanks to you as well. And I want to encourage you guys go look Dana up. She's on LinkedIn, she's on YouTube, she has her own podcast, her own show that she's doing where she's constantly training. Actually, my wife is in preparation for this, found a few of your videos and she's like, oh, I need to dive into this, right? So there's more resource from her online. Go look it up, check out her website. And if you're in this in a place where you want to invest in your development, utilize her services. I have a coach that I work with. I always recommend getting assistance from a coach to help you navigate that space, because it's very I can't express how priceless. What I've invested, I've made back more in my business, more in every area in what I've invested in a coach to help me navigate my vision and that direction that we're going, right? So I just want to say thank you so much.
And thank you so much for having me. It was really, really a pleasure to be here, and this was an amazing conversation.
Thank you as well. Awesome. And I want to say thanks to our audience. Thanks for those who stick with us tonight. And I want to encourage you as well. Share the link. Let others know about this show. It is an entrepreneurial podcast for you to help inspire, motivate, and transform your life. We're bringing experts from the region together just to have discussions like this with an aim for you to kind of extract out those tips, those advice, those lessons from their journey that can help you in your entrepreneurial journey. I want to say thanks to my team, my wife Ruth, to Kimana, Joshua, and Shireen. That's our team that works behind the scenes to make this show happen every week. Without all their hard work, preparation, the show would not happen. I want to say thanks as well to TNC here in Belize for broadcasting the show on television and just letting the Belize population get what we're doing and kind of know about what we're doing. I want to say thanks to Caribbean Invest TV in Europe as well for broadcasting on that end, for SOA Rise TV in Antigua and Barbuda for rebroadcasting. And guys, I'm mentioning those things just for you to understand that because it's the same thing that Miss Dana was talking about. We did not think it was possible, but we had a vision and we step out, and now we went from starting a show in our living room to now broadcasting globally, having our own studio. And so that whole thing of the future, I really love that. Like, your brain is in the future and your body's going towards it. I love that. I think that's going to go on my wall. I'm going to make a poster and I'll put that on my wall, right? So your brain is in the future and our body is trying to catch up, but we're going after it. We're chasing after it, right? And again, I want to say a big thank you to the Creative Monday community for tuning in weekly. Let's get more people on here. Give us some feedback as well. We want to know how we need to improve. We're winding down this season. We have about 2 or 3 more episodes for this season. We're going to take a Christmas break and then we're going to return next year for season 5. This is the perfect time to start give us feedback, how we can improve, things you want us to talk about, guests you want us to bring on. This is the perfect time. Go to our website, creativemondayshow.com, where you can get that information. And I want to remind you guys to treat every day like it's a Monday. I want to say God bless you, and I will see you again next week, Monday. Take care.